Do a little introduction to halacha in general, b'siyata d'shmaya, and then we'll start learning the sugya b'ez Hashem. So basically, there are two ways to learn halacha. There is one way, which is the easy way, which is the classic way, is you take out a sefer that tells you what to do and what not to do, and a sefer that we trust. It can be a guideline, it can be a Mishnah Berurah, it can be anything written by a competent Rav with a haskama, and he'll say what to do and what not to do, and seeing as we trust him, so we'll follow his word. That's one way to keep halacha. And you can live your life like that. Many people learn Mishnah Berurah, and they learn their life according to Mishnah Berurah, and Haris a Meshubach. And there's no problem with that, chas v'shalom. That's a moed kazach. But there is a disadvantage to that. And that is, if you just learn Mishnah Berurah, you'll know what to do. But you will not know why you are doing what you are doing. So the other way to learn halacha is from the sources down. Now, why is the second option the less preferred option?
It's longer.
Because it's longer, and it takes effort, and you've got to think, and you've got to go through the opinions, and I don't want to think, I don't know why, just tell me what to do, tell me what not to do, leave me alone, kultiv, which is the preferred option. But in these series of shiurim b'siyata d'shmaya, we want to take the hard route. We want to take the long route. We want to understand what we are doing and why we're doing. And the only way to do that is to learn the sources from the psukim down. And that's what they do in Koilel. In Koilel, you're learning Hilchos Shabbos, you take the psukim, you take the Mishnah, you take the Gemara, you take the Rambam, you take the Torah, you take the Rosh, you take the Rif, and you go down and you work down, you work down, you work down, and eventually you get what to do. And then, when you are doing, so it's beautiful, because you understand what you're doing, and you know what you're doing, and you know why you're doing it. And it just makes life much, much more exciting. Just one small thing, because I don't want to start properly, but just something important to know, just how the world of halacha evolved. We had a Torah, the Bible. We had the written law, which we still have, Baruch Hashem. And after the written law comes Mishnayos. Comes Mishnayos. And after Mishnayos comes Gemara. Now the Gemara says, is the last text we have of Torah Sheba'al Peh. After the Gemara, after the Chasimas of Talmud that Rav Ashi and Ravina sealed the Talmud, we no longer have Torah Sheba'al Peh. Now, the problem, I say a problem, I don't mean problem, but just the problem with Torah Sheba'al Peh is, it doesn't tell us who we paskin like. For example, we just finished Maseches Beitza b'siyata d'shmaya. How many times did it say Hilchos?
No.
A few times, 3-4 times. It very rarely tells us who we paskin like. So therefore the Rishonim come along, and the Rishonim have their rules of what to do and how to paskin. Because just based on the Gemara, Aaron. Just based on the Gemara, we have no idea what we're doing. We have no idea what to do and how to do it, because the Gemara brings down a machlekes and b'maikim miflegi and all of these other opinions, but we don't know much more than that. So then come the Rishonim, and the Rishonim tell us who to paskin like. The problem with the Rishonim is that there's machlekes Rishonim. So this just makes life complicated. And about 500 years ago, there was a rabbi called Rabbi Yosef Cairo, and he was the undisputed number one posek to live in Yiddishkeit in the last 600-700 years. Undisputed, number one posek, undisputed. And he wrote the Code of Jewish Law, which he titles the Shulchan Aruch. Now, the Shulchan Aruch is actually not his chiddush. Do you know whose chiddush it was to have 4 Turim? The Torah. The Torah was written by Rabbi Yaakov Balaturim, who was the son of the Rosh. And the Torah codified Jewish law. He was the first person to make a code of Jewish law and split it up into 4 categories. What are the 4 categories of Jewish law? Very good. Okay, so let's go through them. So what are they all about? What is Orach Chaim all about? Daily life. This is the easiest one. Daily life, waking up in the morning, going to sleep at night. Daily life. What is Yoreh De'ah all about?
The way to live.
What's Yoreh De'ah all about? Issa v'heta. Yeah? Issa v'heta is basa v'chalav. Nida. Issa v'heta is Yoreh De'ah is all about Issa v'heta. Shrita, Melicha, all these things are in Yoreh De'ah. What is Choshen Mishpah all about? Manatrulo. Simple. Manatrulo. And what is Even Ezel all about? Marriage, divorce, ksuba. How to deal with that part of Yiddishkeit. Now the Shulchan Aruch took the code of the Torah, took his 4 Turim, and used the same simonim as him, but tweaked it. And that became the official code of law accepted by Yiddishkeit. until came along Rabbi Moshe Isserles, who lived in Ashkenaz. He lived in Poland, we were at his cave not long ago, and he basically said that I don't necessarily agree with everything Rabbi Yosef Karo said. Rabbi Yosef Karo, famously, he writes this in his Akdama, has three main Rebbes that he follows psak according to. Does anybody know the three Rebbes of the Shulchan Aruch that he takes his halachas from? Yeah, the Rosh,
The Rambam.
the Rambam,
And the Rambam. No.
and the Rif. Those are the three that the Shulchan Aruch goes according to. And you'll notice often the Shulchan Aruch, the base. You know the Shulchan Aruch is the Beis Yosef, yeah?
Yeah.
The Beis Yosef is a parish on the Torah. The same person, yeah?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. The Rabbi Yosef Karo wrote three masterpieces that changed Klal Yisrael. What are the three masterpieces that Rabbi Yosef Karo wrote? Excellent, that was meant to be the hardest one. Okay, Kesef Mishnah. What else? Shulchan Aruch. And the Beis Yosef. These are the three masterpieces that Rabbi Yosef Karo wrote. The Beis Yosef is a parish on the Torah. The Kesef Mishnah is a parish on
Rambam.
and the Shulchan Aruch is a code of Jewish law. The Ramah came along and the Ramah said that I don't have this Masorah that I follow everything the Rambam, the Rif and the Rosh said. I don't have that. We have other people that we follow, like, such as Tosfos. Very often you'll see that the Ramah will quote Tosfos and say, this is the minhag that we had. We didn't follow everything the Rambam said and everything the Rif said and everything. We didn't necessarily do that. So therefore, halacha basically split. You had the Shulchan Aruch on one side, and you had the Ramah on the other side. Most of European Ashkenazic Jura followed the Ramah, and most of European, Israeli, North African Jewry, and the Sephardim followed Maran Shulchan Aruch. And that was basically how Klal Yisrael was about 120 years ago. Published a rabbi, whose name was Rabbi Yisrael Meir HaKohen from Radin, better known as, and he wrote a parish on Orach Chaim. On Orach Chaim. Not on Yerideh, not on Choshen Mishpat, not on Evan. He wrote a parish on Orach Chaim to sum up the main shittas and to bring down what he thinks is the main halacha. And what is that parish on Orach Chaim called? Mishnah Berurah. Now, if you look carefully, Mishnah Berurah, you'll see most of Mishnah Berurah is saying he's quoting. In fact, he even wrote a sefer to tell you where he's quoting from. What's that sefer called? Sha'atzion. At the bottom, the Chafetz Chaim wrote a sefer called Sha'atzion, which is telling you the sources of the Mishnah Berurah. So you'll notice often what the Mishnah Berurah says is really quotes. So don't be surprised if you learn the Mishnah Berurah and then you go back and say, that's just what the Rambam said. And he's that's what Rabbeinu Yoni said. And the Chafetz Chaim would say, yeah, I was just quoting the Rambam. I was quoting the Rishonim. That's what he does. So much that the Chafetz Chaim wrote a masterpiece called Sefer Chafetz Chaim and Hilchos Lashon Hara. And in my humble opinion, my year 13 I haven't done year 11 so much. I think we have, without a source it's reform. We know that line, yeah? Without a source it's reform. So the Sefer that sums that message up. Someone asked me a good question, by the way. You know I always say, without a source it's reform. Yeah. Someone asked me, what's my source? You need a source.
Yeah,
I love that question. The answer to that question is, the Gemara asks 1,000 times, Minah Hanimeli. That's my source. Minah Hanimeli is my source, you need a source. Where'd you get it from? Minah Hanimeli. How often does the Gemara ask Minah Hanimeli? 5,000 times? Minah Hanimeli. That is my source, you need a source. So the Mishnah Berurah comes along and quotes all the sources. The Mishnah Berurah is, in the last 120 years, the world has changed more than ever. Between the 1500s and 1600s, I don't know how much the world changed in terms of halacha. Between the 1600s and 1700s, I don't know how much the world changed in terms of halacha. But between the 19th and 20th century and 21st century, I mean, what do you do now with a microwave, and what do you do with a phone, and what do you do with a car? Where do you find these things? So much so that the great poskim of the last generation used to say that when it comes to Hilchos Shabbos, they struggled so much with Hilchos Shabbos because where's your starting point? You want to know, can you use a microwave on Shabbos? Is it considered bishul? Where'd you go? Will you take our Rambam? There's nowhere to go. So you have to be what's called in halacha medame milsa milsa. Have you heard of this expression? Medame milsa milsa means you compare one matter to another. Nowhere in the Torah will you find halachas of a microwave. It isn't going to happen. Nowhere in the Torah will you find out what is an LED light. It's not written anywhere. So the posek have to be medame milsa milsa. The difference between a posek and someone who knows halacha is the following. Someone that knows halacha is someone you can listen to halacha share, very clear, write it down, and you will know the halacha. But why can you not paskin? Let's say someone listens to a really clear, the clearest shir in the world on Hilchos Shabbos, the clearest shir, and he writes it down, so clear. Why can this guy never paskin his whole life? Because he knows what to do, but what doesn't he know? He doesn't know why. He doesn't know why I'm doing it. The rabbi said on the shir that if you pour water from a clear rishon to a klisheni and it's a kalei bishul, it's bishul. So I know I cannot pour from my urn onto a ground coffee. I know I can't do that, but I don't know why. So if I don't know why, I can't paskin. And therefore we'll try see how these series of shiurim go. That we're not going to learn just the what, but we're going to learn the why. And the only way to learn the why is to build from the top all the way down. Now by Hilchos Chanuka it's a little bit easier, obviously because the top is going to be the Gemara. There are no psukim, obviously the Chanuka is the Rabbanon, although interestingly, the Ramban does say there is a smach in the Torah of the Chanuka. Does anybody know what the smach in the Torah is? The Ramban says this. If I tell you where the Ramban is, I'll give it away. Does anybody know what the Ramban says the smach in the Torah of the Chanuka is? In the Mishnah, yeah, where? Yeah. The Ramban says this is a smach to Chanuka. The Ramban says that it's not written in the Torah, but it's a smach, it's an illusion, it's a hint. So therefore, B'siyat Shema, let's start now, let's finish this introduction, and let's start Rabbi Sai. So we want to work from the top down, start from the beginning, we want to get to that way, we take out the guidelines, and the guidelines say, this way you put this way you like do adlakas there is Chanukah, we will know where that comes from. And when you know where, and why, and how, then you can paskin. But if you just know what I'm doing, you cannot paskin. So is that clear? Introduction clear?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. So I said in previous, I was about to say weeks, but I'm going to change it to months. Shir's been a little bit, no, not empty. It's been a bit, no, it'd been a bit a free for all, a bit Chabura style. So let's do Yishon Rabbi. I gave it to my year 13 guys today. I gave it to them for having smartphones because it's just to concentrate. They're jumping, they're not listening, and everything has to be quick and done and moved and everything. So what we'll do is let's go slow. If you've got a question, just wait. It might be answered. If it's a good question in the Gemara, it's probably asked by the Gemara. If it's a good question not asked by the Gemara, it's probably asked by one of the Rishonim. If not, it's probably asked by one of the Achronim. If no one asks it, it's probably not a good question. So let's be patient and let's learn. The sugya of tonight is, where do we light Hadlakas Neres Chanukah? Oh, my dad's doing it here, so I'm going to do it there. Okay, that is one way to do it. But we want to learn tonight why. And if a person learns why and really understands it, then you can paskin. Because you know why. If I just know what, I can't paskin. Is that clear? Yeah. So I hope everyone's got a sheet. I want to learn it inside of us. So we're learning that a sugya. Okay? A sugya. We're learning where do you like Neres Chanukah. I have to be honest with the audience. In 2 weeks' time, you'll probably all be bored in Vahalacha. And I'm probably going to do this in 2 weeks' time. And then in 2 weeks' time, instead of you guys thinking to himself, how does he know all of that? Like, I don't understand. You know what you think to yourselves? Boring. That was something I don't know. And that means you're becoming a Talmud Chacham. That's good. Instead of in Va'alach, everyone thinking, well, how do you get all these sources from? You'll say, yeah, we know this. We learned it. It's budget. Let's do it, Rabbi Sai. So, let's see the Gemara here, Tana Rabbanan. So everyone got Tana Rabbanan?
Yeah.
So everyone knows the sugya of Chanukah appears in Shabbos. There's the Masechta Chanukah. This shit, we're going to concentrate, yeah? We're not laugh at each other. We're going to concentrate, look inside, yeah? Tana Rabbanan is like Gemara. Ne Chanukah. The light of Chanukah. Mitzvah lahanicha al Pesach beisoy mibachutz. The Chanukah candle, the mitzvah is to, literally, lahanicha is to put it, al Pesach beisoy mibachutz, on the entrance to your house, outside. Okay, we don't exactly know what this is at the moment. But the mitzvah of Chanukah is to place it on the entrance to your house, outside. Okay, we're going to see what this means. Let's continue. Now that's all very good if someone has a house. What if you don't have a house? What if you live in a flat? And if you live in a building, in a high-rise, then you put it in a window that's close to a Rosh Hashanah. What if it's a dangerous time? We're going to have to see what does it mean it's a dangerous time. You can leave it on your table, and that's enough. So the Gemara has brought down 3 opinions as to what to do. The best opinion is, where do you leave your Chanukah candles? Where do you leave it? Pesach beisoy mibachut. It's outside, it's on the entrance to your house. We don't know exactly where that is. If you live in a high rise, where do you do it? At the window. But where by the window? Okay, and if it's a dangerous time or dangerous place? Table, and that's enough. So we see very from the Gemara. The B'shas HaSakana, it's okay. Pashtus, even if no one sees it. Just put it on your table and no one will see it. Pashtus, that's okay. Says the Gemara. Amar Rava. Tzarich ne acheres lishtamesh lo'ira. You need another light to be used as a flame. What are we going to call that?
Shamash.
The shamash. So Rava just told us you need a shamash. The ikamadura, and if there's any way like a bonfire, loy tzarich, you don't need to have a shamash. Why? Because the bonfire counts as a shamash. The adam choshefu, but if he's a choshev person, he's a rosh hashiva. Afagav the ikamadura, even though there is already a bonfire, tzarich ne acheres, you are going to need another candle, because an adam choshev does not normally use a bonfire, and therefore for him the bonfire doesn't count, and therefore he's going to have to use a shamash. Okay, so far so clear?
Clear.
Now, I think we'll do here the machlekes Rashi Tosfos, and then we'll do, actually no, I think it might be Kedai. We'll go through the Gemara. Is that okay to finish the Gemara, and then we'll do machlekes? Is that okay? Yeah. Okay, let's go. My Chanuka, very good shema. This is it, Rabbi. So this is all the Chanuka tales we hear as kids. This is the only source in Shas for what happened on Chanuka. This is it. You know what happened on Chanuka? This is it. My Chanuka. I'm going to do a little bit quickly, okay? Tzana Rabban, we're doing a brayso. The Chaviv of Kislev Yemei Chanuka is the days of Chanuka, 25th of Kislev. Timnah Yinin. What does Timnah mean in English? Timnah is Aramaic for 8th. 8 days, you can't do a hesped, it's not allowed to do a hesped, and you can't fast on Chanukah. When the Yevanim came into the Heichal, they were metame all the oil in the Heichal, and when the Chashmanayim were misgabev and nitzchum and overpowered them, they searched, they only found one little measly pach of shemen that was found with a seal of the Kohen Gadol. And there was only enough oil to light for one day. Nase boines. A miracle happened. And then it lasted 8 days. All since we were 4 years old, we know the Chanuka story. This is where our kindergarten rebbes got it from. L'shana acheres, the next year, kavim va'asan yamim toivim. The next year, they instituted the chachamim, happy days, yamim toivim, b'halel v'haidah. There's lots to talk about over here. I'd love to discuss this with you guys. That the takana of halal is l'halel v'l'haidais. That is what Chanukah is. There's lots of Torah here. What it means, l'halal v'l'haidais. Fine, that is Chanukah. The next bit is very important. Tanan Hasam. We taught in a Mishnah in Buva Kab. Now we're going to listen in. Gate hayotza mitachas apatish. Gate is like a spark. A spark that came from a hammer. V'yatza v'hizik, and it goes out and causes a damage, chayev. So if a person is hammering and something falls out, a splinter or a spark, and it causes damage, the halacha is the guy who was hammering, he's chayev to pay. Gamal shatan pishtan. A camel that is loaded with flax. V'oiver b'rishus harabim, and it's traveling in rishus harabim. V'nechnasa pishtana l'soicha chanas. It's very important. This is going to be mamish halacha l'maisa for this. And his flax enters a person's shop. So you're walking with your camel, and your camel's got flax, and your camel goes a little bit of a detour, and goes inside someone's shop. V'dalko b'neroi shel chenvani, and the flax catches light of the shopkeeper. You hear the story, yeah? The guy's walking down, the camel, there's flax. The camel goes into the shop with his loaded flax and catches fire from the pre-existing light in the shop. Says the Mishnah, and he lit the whole building. Bal Hagamal Chayev. The owner of the camel is Chayev. Why is he Chayev?
He went in.
Yeah. He shouldn't have taken his animal into a shop. He has to make sure that his animal, when it stays walking, walks with Rishus Harabim. You haven't got Rishus to take your animal into some guy's shop. Now, what happens if the shopkeeper left his flame outside? Chenvani chayev. What happens if the shopkeeper left his flame outside? Mamish on the street. He left his flame on Brent Street, and then your camel's coming past with flax, causes a fire and burns the bill, and burns his shop. Who's chayev? The owner, correct? Why is the Bala Gamal potter?
Because he was in Rosh Hashanah. He's not.
Exactly, he's allowed to walk in Rosh Hashanah. Clear?
No.
Rabbi Yehuda Oimer, B'nei Chanukah potter. If that flame was a Ner Chanukah, then the Chenvani is potter.
It's a Bal Gamal Chayev?
In what case?
In the case of
Look at what I was going to say. What's going to happen in the following case? What's going to happen in a case where the Baal HaGamal is walking down and it's Ner Chanukah and it catches a light? and it burns the building. What does Rabbi Yehuda hold? Come on, guys, what does Rabbi hold? Why is he potter?
Because it's Chanuka, you have to put it outside.
Oh, the reason why the Chenvani was chayav in the first case is because you haven't got a right to put a light there. Why couldn't Rabbi Yehuda by Ner Chanuka you potter?
You have to put it outside.
Oh, so what do we see from here? Where's the mitzvah to have Chanukah candles? Mamish, it sounds like a Rosh Hashanah, no?
Yeah, but this is only good Rabbi Yehuda.
We're showing him discussing Bava Kama. What do we see from here? What do we see from here? The mitzvah is outside. That's where the mitzvah is. Amar Ravina, says Ravina Zoisei Meres, Ner Chanukah mitzvah lanicha b'soich asara. What we see from here, do you know where the mitzvah is to place Ner Chanukah? Within 10 tefachim. That's what Ravina says in this Gemara. You know what we learn from this Gemara? The mitzvah to put Ner Chanukah is within 10 tefachim. Why? Of the ground. Because if you're going to tell me that you can put Neres Chanukah above 10, lay malay. So why didn't the Balagamal say to the Chenvani, you know what we see from here? We see from here the mitzvah must be below 10. Because according to Rav Yehuda, why is the Chenvani potter? Because he was allowed to put it there, correct?
So that's how the mitzvah is.
Because the mitzvah must be... Now, if you can put it above 10, do you know what the Bala Gabal can say to the Chenvani?
Why don't
you put it higher? Why did you put it so low? You know camels walk past. The fact that he can't tiny that proves what?
You have to be low.
Yeah? Everyone got that?
Yeah.
Why can't the Bala Gabal tiny? Well, you should have put it higher. Why did you put it so low? Why can't he claim that? Because you can't put it high, it has to be low. Clear? That's Ravina's raya that Ner Chanukah must be below 10 tefachim. So we know, from being from and brought up and from homes, we should try and put it below Asar tefachim, correct? This is the source, there should be below 10 tefachim. But says the Gemara, that's not necessarily a proof. Dilma, I mitra chalei tuva, if you were to really annoy him, asilem nuyim mitzvah. If you were to annoy him, and make him put it so high, he might actually end up not doing it. So therefore, have you got a raya from here that it needs to be less than 10 tefachim? No, why not? Maybe it does need to be. We haven't got a raya. How do you know maybe really it can be above 10 tefachim?
Because we just don't want to bother him.
Yeah, we don't want to bother. We don't have to start telling him where to do. You got to do here, you got to do there, you got to high, you got to do low. We're going to annoy the guy, and we don't want to annoy the guy. So therefore, seeing as we don't want to annoy him, we allow him to put it wherever he wants. But really, is there a proof from here it needs to be below 10? No, we haven't got a proof from here. So we're going to have to see now. This is a classic example we're going to see in the show, just for starting halacha series. This is a classic example. What's the Gemara's maskana here if the Ner Chanukah needs to be below 10 or not? How does the Gemara conclude it?
It's not right.
Do you understand how this is a classic example where you can learn the Gemara in so many different ways? All of these following make sense. No raya at all. You know why? The Gemara says Dilma. That's one way you could learn the Gemara. There's no raya from this Gemara, correct? Why is there a raya from the Gemara? There's no raya less than 10. Maybe it should be less than 10. So why couldn't he say you should have done it there? Why couldn't he have said that? Because then we're going to want to annoy the guy. But really, maybe it should be less than 10, correct? That is one way you can learn the Gemara. You know another way to learn the Gemara? The fact that Gemara tried to bring a proof and the Gemara just said Dilma, does Dilma mean it's wrong? No. So one option is that it's a good raya. Dilma doesn't mean it's wrong. Dilma just means there's another way to learn. Maybe it is a good raya. You know another way to learn the Gemara? It's a good thing to do it less than 10, but you don't have to. This is a classic example of where, what do I do? Does it need to be less than 10? Is it a good thing to be less than 10? Does it have to be less than 10? There's different ways to learn the Gemara, and that's what we're going to see. We're going to here. This is just, do you understand how, this is where, this is how it's possible to have machlokes showing him what to do. Everyone get it? Yeah, David, you here? This is why it's possible to have machlokes showing him as to what to do. Because, is there a raya for less than 10 here? The Gemara said I have a raya for less than 10, correct? The Gemara said, nah, it's not approved. Dilma, really, it can be higher than 10, but if you make him do it higher than 10, so then you're going to annoy him. But does that mean that it shouldn't be less than 10? No, it doesn't mean it should be less than 10. So this is a classic example where the Rishonim are going to come in and the Rishonim are going to say how they understand the Gemara. Ad kan, are things clear?
Yeah.
The last thing we just learnt is where to put Ner Chanuka. Whether or not to be below 10, we're going to see, the Rishonim will fight about it. But one thing we do see from the Gemara, where did they leave there? Where did they light Hadlakas Neros? Where did they actually have the fire? Mamish outside. Oh, it's just a rabbim, no? Prove to me it's Rishus Rabbim.
Because otherwise the camel would be quiet.
Exactly. Otherwise the Balagamal will be the Balagamal only has Rishus to walk in one place. Where can the Balagamal, this is above a camel, where can the Balagamal walk? Rishus Rabbim. So the fact that it couldn't be the pot by Ner Chanuka must mean that what? Where is it? So we see from here, Mamish should be Rishus Rabbim, no? Okay, and again, we start with the Gemara by saying, where is the Ikar Mitzvah to light it? Pesach Beisai Mibachut. Now, what is Pesach Beisai Mibachut? That is the question. Let's see Rashi. Mibachut. Everyone got Rashi Mibachut? Everyone got it inside?
Yeah.
Says Rashi, why do you have to be outside? Rashi's bothered. Do we ever have a halacha in our religion? You need to do something outside.
Sukkah.
Oh, that's quite.
Sukkah doesn't need to be outside.
Indoor sukkah.
Can't be indoor.
Sukkah, no. You can have an indoor sukkah. Just it needs to be the schach needs to be mitachas hashemayim. But where is there a time you have to do a mitzvah outside?
Never. There's never.
Okay, fine.
Indoor river.
It's not chiyuv. No, it's not chiyuv. Tashlech? It's not chiyuv to do tashlech. Brought in the Gemara. So the Ramah brings it. You don't have to do tashlech. That's not do tashlech. It's absolutely fine. Yeah, no. That's just because. I mean, if you see the moon inside, the Ramah says that Hilchos Levana there's a mitzvah to do tachas aver shema. Okay, fine, that's fair. But I mean, like, take a mitzvah outside.
If you don't go outside, you didn't do the mitzvah.
Or not even that. Just where do you have to take a mitzvah outside? Okay, anyway, you got the point. Okay, says Rashi, Mishum Pirsumei Nisa. You could be in a train. Left the Komadarach. In a car.
On a air flight.
100%. Mishum Pirsumei Nisa. Says Rashi, do you know you have to do it outside? Do you have to do it outside? Publicize it, that's posher, yeah? Says Rashi, Veloi b'rshus harabim. You don't actually put the menorah b'rshus harabim. Ela b'chatzeiroi. You put it in your courtyard. Shebatehen hayupsuchin lachotza. Because their houses were open to a chotzeh. Now I need everyone to use their imagination. I'm not going to ask you to close your eyes, but can everyone use their imagination? In the times of the Gemara, things were different. We're going to see, I don't want to ruin the Chazon Ish. But in the times of the Gemara, people lived in flats, and there was what was called a communal chotzeh, which meant that you had a bunch of houses, and you had a chotzeh here. Okay, so these are the houses. There was an entrance here, and here, and you walked in, and there was a back, and you went through the back, or even the front. It made a difference, and there was a chotzeh here. And the houses could be surrounded. There could be houses all around. Now, in that communal chotzeh, the Gemara says you did everything there. You washed there. You did your laundry there. You even cooked there. That was where things happened. We don't have this concept nowadays. But in the times of the Gemara, the chotzeh was where things happened. No. We're going to see the Chazon Ish holds it doesn't exist nowadays because I'm ruining probably next week's year. But the Chazon Ish holds there's no such thing nowadays because no one does their private things in a chutzah. In the times of the Gemara, they did their laundry in a chutzah. No one does laundry in a chutzah nowadays. They cook there. They bathe there. It was mamish like we don't have such a concept nowadays. We only do our laundry inside our house. But at the times of the Gemara, there was a communal chutzah, and in that chutzah, they did everything. Says Rashi, when the Gemara says mibachutz, what's the Gemara referring to?
In the real chutzah.
Okay, so I want everyone to look here. These two shoes are the houses. This Gemara is the chutzah, and this phone is the Rishus Harabim. According to Rashi, where does a person light Neros Chanuka? Nope.
Outside his house.
Go on to point.
By tissues.
Yeah,
Just
here.
between the tissues and
Here, according to Rashi is where you light. Correct? Excellent, correct.
yeah.
Correct. According to Rashi, what we're going to see, Pashtas according to Rashi, you light here. Is that clear?
Yeah.
So who's the Pesumei Nissa for? Who are you publicizing it for? Everyone in the Chotzah. That's the Pesumei Nissa. That's how Rashi learns. Rashi has clearly like B'Shus HaRabim. What would B'Shus HaRabim be?
The entrance to the room.
Here will be Rishus Harabim, correct? Because here, this is Golden Screen Road, okay? Here is your Chatzah and here are the houses. According to Rashi, where don't you light?
On the Chatzah.
Where do you light? Here. Pesach Beisom Mibachutz of the Chatzah. So who are you publicizing the miracle for? So what's Shetas Rashi? Where do you light the menorah?
Just outside your house.
Outside your house, so the Chatzah can hear. Zok Tosfos. Mitzvah Nicha Pesach Beisom Mibachutz.
The reasoning for lighting it outside your house, if the Chatzah can see it, then why can't you light it by your window?
You do by your window, you do.
Yeah,
you do it here.
Outside, not by your window. You can do it inside by your window. If the reasoning of the Gemara is for the Chatzah can see it, yeah, then why'd it have to be specifically outside? Why can't it be inside?
Oh, I can do it inside your house?
Yeah.
The Gemara says in Daf Chav Gimel that we want to put it by the door, so you've got the mezuzah on your right and their Chanuka on your left.
It's in between.
Excellent question. It's neither. No. Pardon?
Then why would the shopkeeper be chayav?
Because the shopkeeper isn't here.
On registry.
Yeah.
But even so,
The shopkeeper's not here. This is Pashtus a Carmelis. Let's call it a Carmelis. What?
You need an arrow. So.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Okay, says Tosfos, Mitzla nicha pesach b'exam b'bechutz, umayri deleka chotzer. There's no chotzer in our case. Do you understand what's going on? What did Rashi say?
There is a chotzer.
Says there's no chotzer. Ela bayis oimed samach l'rshus harabi. You know what the case is? You know what the case is? Shkoach Isaac. This is the case according to Tosfos. According to Tosfos, this is the Gemara. There is no chotzer. Your house is mamish on Golden Street Road. Where do you put the menorah? On mamish there. You mamish put it there. Do you understand? How's it argued with Rashi? Aval im yesh chotzer lifnei habayis. But were there to be a chotzer in front of the house, mitzvah lahaniach al Pesach. Isaac, we need help right now. According to Tosfos, in this case, where would you like the menorah?
Al Pesach.
So we have just opened up a major machlokes Rashi Tosfos. Where do you light menorah? This is the basics to starting the sugya of lighting hadlakas ner Chanukah. According to Rashi, here. According to Tosfos, here. We're going to see that according to some people, according to Rashi, you might even be yotze here. And according to Tosfos, you might even be yotze here. So this is major news. And so again, we have a machlokes. What's the case of the Gemara? According to Rashi, what's the case of the Gemara? There's a chotzer. According to Tosfos. So can you see how this is craziness? We have machlokes Rashi Tosfos. What is the case? If you were to be giving a daf Yoni share and you were to read when the Gemara says Al Pesach Beisim B'Chutz, I mean you'd have to say what Rashi and Tosfos hold. I mean there's two completely different halachim in the Gemara. Clear? Now Tosfos is going to bomb Rashi. We do the kashas? Yeah? Can we do it? Let's do it together, okay? Says Tosfos, the Amar Lakaman, the Gemara says later, Chatzah sheyesh la shnei psachim. A chatzah that has two entrances, tzarech shnei neiros, needs two candles. You have a chatzah. And let's say the chatzah has two entrances. It needs two neiros. Now why might it need two neiros?
Each entrance could be Tosfos if there's a chotzer.
Because the Gemara says, because people might think that you didn't light in one entrance, correct? That's what the Gemara says, yeah? Because people might see only one and not the other one and think you didn't light. What did the Gemara say? A chotzer with two entrances, correct? Where do you have to light? Says Tosfos. This is the biggest proof in the world to me.
Because if you light it outside your house, why would you need to?
According to Rashi, you never light here. Tosfos says, the Gemara says, a chotzer. What does a chotzer mean? This with two entrances, where do you have to light? Both. Says Tosfos, this is the biggest proof in the world against Rashi. According to Rashi, you never light here. What's the svar of the Gemara? Because there's the chashad. What's the chashad? A person might think you didn't light, correct? Yeah. Why is this the biggest kash in the world on Rashi? According to Rashi, you lit here. According according to Rashi, you lit here. Yeah. So no one's ever going to be worried if you see him and over there, not there. Someone's going to say, oh, he didn't light. What do you mean didn't light? He lit here. That's a strong kasha. Oh, yes. That's pretty strong. Rashi answers this in like 2 words. Oh. Rashi is so not scared. But Tosfos holds this as a bomb to Rashi. Is it clear? Is it clear how the courtyards looked? Tzitzach da Amal in the times of the Gemara? Klar? Fa'ala Olam? Says Tosfos another raya to me. V'amrina nami ne sheyesh la shnei piyos. A candle that has 2 wicks. Oile l'shnei b'nei adam. Counts for 2 people. Yeah? You know the Gemara? The Gemara says if you have a candle with 2 wicks, so it counts for 2 people. Yeah? How many lights does a person have to light every night?
2. No.
1.
1, yeah? No, 1. No. I'm done. The shamash is not the mitzvah. The mitzvah is 1 every night. We all know that, yeah?
Yeah. But it depends. Second night's 2.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. There's mitzvah 1 every night. That's it. 100%. 1 every night. If you want to be, Moshe Kaufman is a Mahadran min a Mahadran Jew. So Moshe Kaufman lights 1 more every night because he's Mahadran like Beis Hillel. Moyerdik. But if you're not as frum as Moshe, so you do 1 every night. And by the way, 1 every night for every person. There's also Chiddush. Really, what could you really do? 1 per house every night. That's it. That's all you have to do. 1 per house. That's it. For all 8 nights. You can buy 8 candles, you're done. If you want to be Mahadran bin a Mahadran, you do each person 1 more each night, according to Beis Hillel. Beis Shammai holds you go down. You know that, yeah? Beis Shammai holds you go 8, 7, 6, 5. Yeah? Beis Hillel says you go. Everyone knows that, yeah? Says the Gemara. Rabbeinu Nami, we learn Moshe. Na sheyesh la shnei piyos oil l'shnei b'nei adam. Counts for 2 people. Everyone got the case? You have a candle with 2 wicks? Counts for 2 people. Mashma l'shnei batim. It sounds like it counts for 2 houses. How does Tosfos know this? If people lit their menorahs where Rashi says outside their house, what does the Gemara say? A candle with 2 wicks counts for 2 people. Yeah. So Tosfos, according to me, it's Klat Mahadran. Do you know why? Because according to Tosfos, where do you light the menorah? By the Chotzer. So there's 2 wicks. You know what people on the street are going to say? Great. There's 2 people in 2 separate houses, and they've both lit 1 candle. Moedik. But according to Rashi, where do you light? Here. So even if you put it in between 2 houses, it's going to be on the wrong side because the Gemara says, where do you have to light the menorah? Which side? On the right side. Yeah. Yeah. Is it coming in? So mezuzah's on the right, menorah's on the left. Depends on which way you're coming in. Yeah. If you're coming in, mezuzah's on the right, menorah's on the left. So according to Rashi, if this wick counts for 2 people, 1 guy's got it on the wrong side. Correct? Yeah. Everyone got that clear? Yeah. Hasmaya real, yeah? Real, yeah. I can feel a few Hasmayas. According says Tosfos. Says Tosfos that I can feel a few Hasmayas. I can see on the face a few Hasmayas. According, menorah good. According. No. Oh, how much they? Who pays more? Oh. Okay. So you're assuming that they both pay. So you're assuming they pay. Okay. So, according to Rashi, yeah, Rabbi said, let's get clear. You have 1 candle splits into 2, yeah? Now, according to Rashi, you put it here, yeah? Says Tosfos, that's not good. Do you know why? Because 1 guy's got it on the wrong side. But according to Tosfos, where do you put this 1 that's switched into 2 here? You know what people think on the street? Moedik. Because each one lit for his house. Does everyone understand? Noch. According to Tosfos, you light here, yeah? Yeah? Yeah. So when a person sees 2 wicks, you know what they'll think? 1's for a house here, 1's for a house here. Yeah. But if you light here and the 2 houses are next to each other, 1 guy's lighting on the wrong side. Yeah. So that's not good. And the Gemara says that 1 candle is going to be good for 2 people. Yeah. So it says, this is another raya to me, that where they light the menorah? Must be Pesach. The 2 questions clear? Yeah. I wonder what's the first question I've tried to ask on Rashi?
First question is
Amitai.
So why do I say that's on each entrance? Because according to Rashi, if you didn't have to do it in the first place because you just do it outside the house.
According to Rashi, it wouldn't make sense what the Gemara said, correct? Because you don't do 2 things over here, Moedik. A second question. Aaron, you want to say the second question? No. Okay, you want to say the second question? Time.
So we said that if there's 2 wicks, then it counts for 2 people. Then it counts for 2 entities or 2 houses. Now, if we hold like Washington, we say you put it outside the house, then for one of the houses it'll be on.
But if you do it here, what will people think? People think there's 1 house here, there's 1 house here, and they both lit 1 light outside. Based on this, Tosfos comes to the conclusion that our Gemara has A chotzer or no chotzer? No chotzer. And if there were to be a chotzer, where would you light?
At the entrance.
So where will Rashi and Tosfos agree?
No chotzer.
Lower.
They don't.
What do we know? No, they will agree. Well, Rashi and Tosfos agree. Yeah. Yeah, well, there's no chotzer.
Rashi answer the two questions.
Okay. חביבי, סבלנות. מה זה כאן? אתה חושב אנחנו בארץ בחנות פלאפל? כולם צועקים אחד לשני? סבלנות כאן. Oh, it's being recorded. Hi. Oh, yes, sorry. So we're in the middle of the Gemara share. Yes. Yes, back to the Gemara. Yes, in the Talmud Bavli. Okay. So what do I say? Is it clear? Is it clear the machlokes Rashi Tosfos?
Yeah.
How clear? Is it clear Tosfos kashes on Rashi?
Yeah.
That's a Hasmo smile. Okay, let's go. Vait in Rashi. And if you're living in a high rise, it's very important because we're going to learn, although my guess is most of us don't live in flat, it's so interesting because in Eretz Yisrael it's basically all flats. And it's so interesting to discuss where do you do it in a flat? What if the flat's above 20 amos? Can you light it? Yeah, most people live above 20 amos. 20 amos is about 10 meters. Most people who live in flats live about 10 meters high from the ground. Fascinating. Says Rashi Miyadar Ba'aliyah, she'ein lo yimakom b'chatzer l'nichasham. You haven't got a place in your chatzah to leave it there. What can we die from Rashi? Poshut. If there was place you'd have to light in your chatzah. Menicha mebefnim k'neged chalon hasamach l'shus rabim. You light it inside by the candle. But if anyone's been to Eretz Yisrael for Chanuka and you drive down from communities during Chanuka, it is the most gorgeous sight in the world. You literally see thousands of menorahs, and the last night of Chanuka, it is mamish most beautiful thing. Correct, Zalman? No, not so beautiful? No, he's not here. Okay, fine. Menicha b'fnim k'neged echal ha'masach l'shus rabim. You put it by the window, k'neged l'shus rabim. Now, if there's a sakana, now what was the danger? Do you remember the Gemara said that there's a danger? What do you do if it's dangerous? What do you do? Said the Gemara, what do you do?
Bring it
Put it on a table. What's pshat table? What's pshat table? What does table mean? The opposite.
No.
We don't want people to see. Why don't we want people to see? What is the danger? Says Rashi. Shalahem lefarsayim, led the Persians. Chayk, a rule b'yom Edom. Do you know what Edom is? The first mission of Avodah Zarah. Yom Edom is their festival day. There was a rule. The only place you could light a fire is in their places of Avodah Zarah. So if they caught a Jew lighting a fire in their house, that was Sakanas Nefashos. As the Gemara says in Gittin, that there was a time when the Persians made a gezerah, you can only have a fire in the churches or Avodah, whatever it was they were doing at the time. So therefore, in such a situation, if you were to leave your Ner Chanukah by the window, people to see it, you could actually be Sakanas Nefashos. Therefore, in the times of danger, the halachas you put on your table. Very to the point and discuss. This is going to be probably 2 weeks share. Fascinating. I'm giving it away, but I'm just too excited. If a person puts it on his table and it's not Shas Sakana, are you Yotze B'diavad? Fascinating. The Gemara says Shas Sakana you can put it on the table. What if it's not Shas Sakana? What if you're living in safe times in a safe place and you put it on your table? Are you Yotze B'diavad?
No, but if it's Sakana Nefashos, why are you chayav anyway? Why do you have to do it anyway?
Because why not? Why are you potter on their Chanukah? It's Sakanas Nefashos. No, it's only Sakanas Nefashos they see.
Yeah, but even so, it's still dangerous.
No, but it's not dangerous if they won't see. Tosfos is going to say, what if they come into your house? Tosfos says it's not shliach if they come to your house. That's Tosfos. Tosfos says it's very uncommon that they're going to come into your house. So it's not sakana. Of course, sakana shavas is derech kol haTorah kula. But the pshat is that it wasn't sakanas nefashos. Yeah?
Yeah. I think there's a chiluk between the Pesumei Nisa and the Lahadik Ner Chanukah. From Rashi. Because it seems like he's saying that the Pesumei Nisa is a mitzvah in itself, and that's why the sakana you don't have to do it, but you're still being chayav the Ner Chanukah. Because if the mitzvah Ner Chanukah was dependent on the Pesumei Nisa, then it would just say you're part of the mitzvah.
Very good. So we're going to see there's a trivia of Moshe. I don't think it's on this one, but we're going to see Bez Hashem. There's something called Pesumei Nisa for yourself. You can publicize the miracle for yourself. The biggest proof to that is there are 2 mitzvahs in our religion for Pesumei Nisa. What are the 2 mitzvahs? What are the 2 mitzvahs of Pesumei Nisa?
Megillah.
And Ner Chanukah and Megillah. What's the halach if you're on your own and no one else in the world can see? It's very interesting. We're going to see there's a tshuva, not now. What if you are in the middle of nowhere? Poshut, the middle of a desert in the middle of nowhere. Do you have to light Chanukah? No one. You know for a fact there's no one in the next 100 miles to you. Do you have to light Chanukah?
Yes.
Yeah, because for yourself. You're publicizing the miracle for yourself. And some mashkichim say that the ikka is to publicize it for yourself. The ikka is we have to make sure we understand what Chanuka is about. It's all good to be makar of others, but kiruv starts with one's self, which is a yisoid adeh that kiruv starts with oneself. Okay, says Gemara Vayta Ner Cheres. Last is hekel adava. Why do we need a shamash? Everyone, why do we have a shamash?
In case you benefit from the life of the menorah.
Can't benefit from mitzvah.
That's not what Rashi says. Ner Cheres la'asos hekel adava. I want someone to tell me based on the words of Rashi, why do we have a shamash? But you say, we are now learning Aleph base of Judaism. Why do we have a shamash on our menorah? Rashi said it in 3 words. But if you give me an answer, I want it to be based on the words from Rashi, not based on some Hasmo thinking. I want Rashi. Last. Oh, do you know what Heka is? Sorry, do you know what Heka is?
No.
Oh, sorry. Heka is something to make something recognizable. Tell me Kiyoto in Hebrew. Do you recognize him?
Yeah. I recognise that's for mitzvah, not for your benefit.
Good. Because what would I think if there wasn't a shamash?
Just a light.
Correct. Yeah, it's dark. So what would I think the guy lit a flame?
See.
So we have to have another flame. Why do we have another flame? To show that the other flame is not for benefit. The other flame is for the mitzvah. That's why the shamash is much important. Do you understand how important the shamash is?
Yeah.
So we can discuss what about the other nights? Do you do shamash the other nights? Because the other nights you make a din and chayv in one.
I thought you only need to light one.
Exactly. So do you have to have a shamash on the other nights? Because the other lights, there's no problem because no one will think. Everyone will know that at least one of the candles is done for l'tzorech mitzvah. Okay, all to be discussed. Okay, it says Gemara Ner Cheres last is hekel adava. That's why when you go home, your little siblings ask you, "Why are we doing a shamash?" You'll tell them because if we don't have a shamash, people will think that we're just lighting a candle because we can't see. Therefore, we want to show the whole world this is not because we can't see. This is because a miracle happened to our forefathers. The ikamadura, and if there is a bonfire, eish. Yeah, if you've anyway got a bonfire, you don't need to have a shamash. You know why? Come on, guys, tell me. If there's anywhere a bonfire, why do you need a shamash? And if he's an important person, what's that got to do nothing? Choshev people don't do bonfires. Why not? They just don't. Okay? Choshev people don't have bonfires. It's not like a bonfire thing. It's not a Rosh Hashiva thing to do. Okay? Okay? Now let's skip Rabbi's site. So, do you remember the Mishnah in Bava Kama? Remember the Mishnah in Bava Kama? Yeah? Okay, what did the Mishnah in Bava Kama say? Pardon? About the Kama. So what do we learn from the Mishnah? So what do we see from there? Where's the mitzvah? Says Rashi, B'nei Chanuka Pata, Chenvani, Shibishus Pirsam, Mitzvah, Hinicha Sham. What does that mean? Guys, what's the main rule in Bava Kama when you're chayav when you're potter? What's the rule? If I had permission to do what I'm doing, I'm most likely potter. If I didn't, I'm most likely. So according to Rabbi Yehuda, why am I potter? Which means that we have permission to do it. Now I want you guys to ask a question based on this Gemara on somebody. Thank you. Go on, Yoni.
He says he was just to do it outside.
Excellent. Do you see why this is a kasha on Rashi? Yeah? The Mizrahi is going to ask this. This is a kasha on Rashi. Why is this a kasha on Rashi?
Because Rashi just said that the mitzvah...
Rashi just said you don't put it outside, correct? Where'd you do it?
Inside.
Yeah, and where did the Chenvani do it?
Outside.
And he's potter. This will be a kasha on Rashi. Okay, let's go weiter. So let's just finish up the Gemara. Amar of Kahana, Derash of Nas on the last line. Baman Yimish made the Rabbi Tanchum. Now it's the last Gemara on the sheet. Neshal Chanuka Shanicha Lamana Me'esrim Amma Psula Kesukah Kumavli. Above 20 amas is possible. What's the reason for it?
Sukkah and Mavoi.
And what's the reason for Sukkah and Mavoi? Why can't a Sukkah be above 20 amas?
You can't see the...
To the shelter ba'ena, a person's eyes don't go up, and if you can't see the schach, you can't see the Mavoi, and you can't see Now obviously if you went like that, you could, correct? It's not that high, it's what, 10 meters? It's really not that high. The pshat is that the average walking... What's the word? There's a good word. Eye line, that's a nice word. The eye line of the person will not go above 20 hours. Okay, there's another Gemara. I want to do the other Gemara. There's another Gemara. Okay, let's go to the next page. Yeah, shkoyach. Amar Rav Huna. Let's go to on the next page. Amar Rav Huna. Rav Huna said, "Chatzah sheyesh la shnei psachim, tzricha shtei neos." A chatzah that has 2 psachim needs 2 candles. Yeah. Tosfos asked that as a kasha on Rashi, correct? Do you remember? Yeah. The page. Turn over the page, and it's the Gemara. Remember, likim. Yeah. Amar Rav Yitzchak. These 2 Gemaras were the Gemaras that Tosfos asked the question on Rashi. Let's skip the Rambam, please, and go to the Ritva. Okay? Says the Ritva. Mitzvah lahanicha al Pesach beisai mitbachutz. Perish. Ki hechi dila'avid persumei nisa. We want you to publicize the miracle. That's the reason why you do it mitbachutz. Umashe perish Rashi zal, loy mitbachutz b'shus harabim, ela mitbifnim samach l'shus harabim. Rashi says you do it inside, close to the Rishus harabim. Lav lemesa b'chutz mamish asa. Rashi is not coming to say it's asa to light Chanuka candles outside. See what the Rival's saying in Rashi? The Rival's learning Rashi. Yeah, Rashi doesn't mean you can't light outside. Ki min hagam hayad lahadlik b'chutz mamish. For sure the minhag was to light outside. How does the Ritva know the minhag was to light outside?
Because the Gemara.
The Gemara, the Chenvani. That was Mamish on the street. How do I know it was on the street?
Because he was spotted, because otherwise the camel
Otherwise the camel wouldn't have... There would have been a shaila, exactly. If it was a Shus HaYachid, for sure, who's chayav? For sure the Balagamel is chayav. Why is the Balagamel, guys, why is Pasha the Balagamel chayav? It's in the Rishus HaYachid, the candle. Because you haven't got Rishus to go inside someone's private property with your camel with flax. But you have got permission to walk on Golden Green Road. Therefore must be it's the Rishus HaRabim, says the Ritva. Rashi didn't mean you can't do it outside. V'chen perish Rashi lakaman, elahachi ba'alemeima. This is what Rashi means. Deloisav daba mitzvata b'chutz mamish. It's not just like the only thing is outside. Elahuadin samach l'chutz mebifnim, also inside. The inyan she'akiru pnei Rishus HaRabim. Says the Ritva in Rashi to answer up Tosfos kasha. You misunderstood Rashi, says the Ritva to Tosfos. How did Tosfos understand Rashi?
It needs to be.
The only place is here. Says the Ritva. Rashi didn't mean Ka'asa there. Rashi just meant the main place where there'll be a heka. But Elachanami, if there's a better heka there, do it there. Rashi was just saying the place where there's most Pirsumei Nisa. Where's there most Pirsumei Nisa? Said Rashi. In the times of the Gemara, you know where everyone hanged around?
In the
Correct, and if we have time to do it before, I don't know if I'll have time to do it, but the next shir will be on the time to light. When's the time to light like as Chanuka?
Yeah, no,
When people are coming back, correct? When people are coming, we want people to see. But at the end of the day, according to Rashi, Rashi was never saying, says the Ritva, you can't do it there. Rashi was just saying that the classic and the ideal place is to do it here. What question of Tosfos will that take care of? What question will that take care of?
First one.
What about the second one?
Doesn't.
We'll take care of the second one?
No, because we don't have the problem is if it's by the entrance of the house, then it still looks like it's on the wrong side.
Okay, over side. The smug was the Sefer Mitzvahs Gadol, yeah? Now, there were lots of Perushim written on the smug. The Perush we have here is Rabbi Eliyahu Mizrahi. Rabbi Eliyahu Mizrahi was basically the first super commentator on Rashi. The Maharal, who's famous for his masterpiece on Rashi, he basically is coming off the Mizrahi. He quotes the whole time Mizrahi. So here the Mizrahi wrote a Perush on the smug, and this will answer up Rashi, and we'll just end off with his answers for Rashi, and then we'll hold it here. Okay, says the smug, everyone got it right at the bottom, yeah, bottom of the page. Perush Rashi. Perush Rashi. Rashi said, remember the first Gemara Tosfos brought? What was the first Gemara Tosfos brought?
Two.
The Gemara said that if there's 2 entrances to the Chatzah, where do you light? You have to light both. So what do we see from there? Okay, now everyone keep one finger on the place and just put your finger like 10 centimeters up. Can you see 2 gimel on the... Can you see here? Yeah, Rashi here? Can everyone just see the Rashi here?
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone see the Rashi here? Chatzah shesh shnei psachim, yeah? Has everyone got the Rashi?
Yeah.
Look how Rashi is going to answer Tosfos' question, just sort of without even the reader realizing. Sheyesh labayis shnei psachim lachatza. Rashi just made Tosfos' question not even a question without you even realizing it. You know how Rashi just answers questions without even realizing it? You sort of think like, what's Rashi doing? It's a bit simple. He's just answering up Tosfos' question like that. What did Rashi just do?
chotzer. Bias, not chotzer.
Not Yehuda. What did Rashi just do?
Why it's not chotzer?
Not someone who's just repeating what Yehuda said.
That's right.
Now, when the Gemara said that you should do it in front of the chotzer, yeah, she meant in front of the house.
It says Rashi doesn't mean a chotzer. What does it mean? A house by a chotzer. That's Rashi says the first question is not a question. Let's keep going in the Mizrahi. Sheyesh after everyone got the Mizrahi, the brackets. Sheyesh labayis shebechotzer shnei psachim psuchim la. So that's the answer to the first question. What's the answer to the first question? The Gemara says the chotzer with two entrances. You like them both. What's the answer to that? It doesn't mean an entrance to the chotzer. It means entrance to the house. Or behiten shlish shnei piyos or shnei bnei adam. Perush says Rashi, lemahadrin ha'oiseneh lekol echad. Rashi's talking about one house with many people in it. One house with many people in it.
Oh, so where if you put it outside the house?
Yeah. Rashi's not talking about one house for two. Rashi's not talking outside one house for two. What's Toys's kasha? If you do it outside your house, then your next door neighbour will be on the wrong side, correct? Yeah. Says Rashi, you're not doing it for you and the next door neighbour. You're doing it for your family. There's two people in the house. So who's that light going to work for? Both people. The ilish shnei bnei adam shnei batim. If it's like two people in two houses, like Tosfos learns, okay, that's the answer to Tosfos' second question. So what's the answer to Tosfos' second question?
One house.
One house for two people. Rashi holds this thing. Rashi doesn't lose his. Rashi doesn't twitch. He's not questions. Rashi says, but this is a question. The Mishnah in Bava Kama. This is a kasha on Rashi. What's interesting, Tosfos did not ask this on Rashi. Do you pick this up? Tosfos didn't ask this on Rashi, but this l'chayr is a kasha. Says the Mizrahi, this is a kasha, like kasha. Rashi's not bothered by this Mishnah in Bava Kama. Te'ik lemeima de Rashi zal nami soiver, de bayis she'ein leichatze lefanov, Kistam b'nei chanuyos menicha b'shus harabim. Rashi's so not bothered. You know what Rashi says? A house without a courtyard is the same din as a shop. What does a house without a courtyard mean? Outside your house is a? That's the same thing as a? Says Rashi, of course you leave it outside. Where else are you going to put it? Rashi only said you put it outside your house in a case where? In a case where there was a chotzer. But if there's no chotzer, says Rashi,
Then
what? Yeah. Rabbi said about a few boys are spacing out. According to Rashi, a house without a chotzer is the same thing. So a house without a chotzer, where'd you light it?
No, it's just Robin.
Yeah, so that's it is a shop. Inami, now this is a big chiddush. We'll end with this chiddush. Afagav she'ein mitzvah b'chutz. Rashi holds there's no mitzvah b'shus harabim. Really, according to Rashi, where is the mitzvah? Take it inside. Kivan de represumei mitzvah k'mechavin patahu. This is a big chiddush. Says Ibn Mizrahi. According to Rashi, even by a shop, where's the mitzvah to light Ner Chanukah? Inside. So why is he potter if he lit it outside? Why? Because he wanted to publicize the miracle. So seeing as Dafki, he wanted to publicize the miracle, even though the mitzvah is inside your potter. Why? Because I had intention. Publicize the nace. We'll hold it here. What do we learn today? B'kiyas. A simple machlokes, Rashi and Tosfos. If people want to continue with this shit next week we'll start to learn the Torah, the Rambam, the Shulchan Aruch. How do they paskin like? What do we do now? Where do we like Hanukkah? If you ask Rashi, where do you like? What will Rashi tell you? Inside. What will Tosfos tell you? Outside. So I know what to do. Okay,